Okay, so this is really important. While Aso Rock, APC, and Tinubu's camp are bragging and boasting and reeling out claimed achievements of the Tinubu administration in 2 years, here is something that Nigerians should really be focused on. This is the 2025 Electoral Amendment Bill proposed. Now, it is possible that the airwaves, the talk of the town now, the talk of social media will be the achievement of 2 years of Tinubu's administration. Very, very possible. And the arguments will be there, as well as counter arguments about what he has achieved, if any, or what he has not achieved. Whether you are speaking for or against, do you think that it is worth your time talking about the achievements of the Tinubu administration or the APC administration when there are people on the grounds that are hungry? Do you think so? Here is something that I want to propose to you. An electoral amendment bill for the Electoral Act 2022 with certain critical amendments. Now, before I go into the details, I want to urge every Nigerian out there. There are very many of you that have always proposed or pushed for an amendment to the Electoral Act. In fact, Delefa Rotimi comes to mind, Randy Peters come to mind, several other well-meaning Nigerians. Many people have actually said that election in 2027 will not be free and fair without electoral reforms, without amending the Electoral Act 2022 to make electronic transmission mandatory. This is true. But what we have had is that we stop at advising INEC, advising the National Assembly to carry out electoral reform. We stop at that. But we have had Delefa Rotimi, we have had Randy Peters take it a step further. There are others that I may not be able to mention now. But at least I know of these two that have said, oh, we will do a petition to the National Assembly to do what? To amend the Electoral Act so that the transmission of the live transmission of electronic results, of election results, will be real time, right? And to this end, what do we have? We have seen petitions to the National Assembly. In fact, we are on the what now? On Randy Peters' 30 days challenge for electoral reform petition that he has submitted to the National Assembly. But I have something that takes this a lot further. You see, making it a petition leaves it within the prerogative of the people to change the Electoral Act, which I sincerely don't expect them to. They may come up with all manner of grammar to try shift the goalpost as we go along. Randy Peters has said, oh, if they don't take the petition seriously, then we will occupy the National Assembly. Okay? As good as that may sound, what would determine or guarantee the extent to which the electoral reform that we are calling for is implemented? This proposed bill. And this is a bill. I will leave link to it in the description. It is a bill. It is a proposed bill. All you need to do, you do not need to disturb yourself to say you are doing a petition. In fact, I am asking now, Delefa Rotimi, Randy Peters, I have a link in the description to this proposed bill. I will urge you to go through this bill because this bill is what we should now send to all of our lawmakers, senators, House of Rep members. So instead of putting petition, and mind you, it is very, very likely that many of the lawmakers will hide behind the fact that, oh, okay, it is the Senate president that will handle petition. Oh, it is the committee chairman. They will hide behind it. But this proposed bill that I have linked in the description This proposed bill should be sent by any Nigerian who is interested to their lawmakers. I will send this to Senator Ireti Kingibe. I will also send it to the Senate President. I will send it to the Deputy Senate President. I will send it to the Speaker and the Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives. So nobody will say they did not hear. We have put in conditions in there that will guarantee free, fair, and transparent elections in 2027. Nigerians, this is what we need to do. This is what we need to do. So it's not a gamble anymore. The way they amended the 2015 Cyber Crimes Act, such that we now have the 2024 Cyber Crimes Amendment Act, is the way we have gone to work to come up with this amendment of the Electoral Act 2022 in this proposed bill. So let us all get a copy of this bill, go through it. You'll be amazed at the provisions of this proposed bill. You'll be amazed. And send it to your lawmaker. The lawmaker representing your senatorial district or your House of Rep district. Send it to them. In fact, if you want to know if your lawmakers have your interest at heart, this is the litmus test. This is how you test them. You know, it is easy for them to come and sweet talk Nigerians and pretend as though they care about Nigerians. This is one way to test them. If a senator supports this bill and presents it within the next legislative business day, then you know that that lawmaker has your interest at heart. And if the lawmaker does not support it, does not present it, because we are sending this to all 360 lawmakers. We are sending it to all 360 lawmakers. We are sending it to all 109 legislators, senators, minus those who have passed and the vacant seats. We're sending it to all of them. So if they don't take action on it, that sends us Nigerians a signal they don't have our interests at heart. And tell me, why should any lawmaker, senator or House of Rep member that does not support this Electoral Act Amendment Bill, why should they return to the National Assembly? This is the question that we'll be talking about, and we can make sure they don't return. Because this Electoral Act, if it is passed, still, we will not rely on it 100%. We will take advantage of our rights as citizens of Nigeria. We will set up a parallel electronic collation system. We have it. We call it Election Guard, Vote Vision. It is a software. It is a web application that will collate results in real time from our agents at the polling units. So we will have that system in place in parallel to checkmate, to check and see if INEC is doing the right thing. So it is not that we'll just rely on, once they pass the Electoral Act, because trust me, if you cast your mind back to what happened in 2023, you'll see that the Electoral Act was not bad. If INEC just decided to do the right thing, we would have had a fantastic election. But of course, they found a loophole, and then we had the glitch that is still unexplained till date. So we will not leave it, even if this Electoral Act is passed, we will not leave it to INEC to determine how quickly Nigerians see their election results. In fact, our parallel system will be faster than that of INEC, so that they will know that we know. And the beautiful thing about this electoral system that we have, that we are going to roll it out by July 1. So just be on the lookout on this channel. Be on the lookout for that web application, Vote Vision Election Guard, that will help Nigerians to see their election results in real time from the polling unit. But this is just to make sure that INEC does the right thing. And that's why we want the National Assembly to pass the amendment bill so that Tinubu will assent to it. And if he doesn't assent to it, this will be one condition that we can now use to say, Mr. Tinubu or Mr. President, this amendment bill, assent to it if truly you are a Democrat. And if he fails to assent to it, then we will know he is not a Democrat, even though some of us already know that. And then we'll have the legitimate ground to say, we will not vote for you. On top of other conditions like the devaluation of the naira, the destruction of the economy, the fact that he said that if he does not give us 24 hours electricity, that we should not vote for him. So we add this one on top of it. Every well-meaning Nigerian lawmaker should support this bill. There are critical segments of the bill that I will just read it out for you. It says, a bill for an act to amend the Electoral Act 2022 to make electronic transmission, electronic auto-collation, and live online publication of election results mandatory by the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, and for related matters. So it's not about just transmission of film from EC8A to IREV. No. This 2025 proposed bill that we have here goes beyond that. Because what we saw is that INEC sends the form EC8A all manner of copies. Sometimes it's a picture of somebody in the restroom, and then sometimes it's all manner of forged things. No. This amendment bill goes beyond that. It's saying that you will make INEC to compulsorily, mandatorily ensure to make the transmission, electronic auto-collation, which means that once the result is declared in a polling unit, INEC is displaying it to us real time. Before that result is taken to the registration area collation center or the ward collation center, we are seeing the result from the polling unit. So all those collation that will take place in the ward, that will take place in the local government, that will take place at the state, they will just be for, what do you call this thing? Okay, let me just use backup. They will just be for doing the normal paperwork to provide evidence of the paperwork, but the election result would have gone immediately the result is announced at the polling unit. That way, all this snatching of ballot boxes, all this mayhem that takes place in the polling unit, they will not be there anymore. And guess what? Look at where it gets even more beautiful. It says live online publication of electronic results. So INEC will be mandated by this amendment to transmit the result live on the INEC website. You will have the map of Nigeria with the state, with the local government, with the ward, with the polling unit. You can access them just the way you see it on CNN when they are doing the American. They can do it. It's very easily achievable. We have our own software that can do that. And we are just individuals. We don't have billions of naira given to us for elections. So INEC cannot say they cannot do it with all the billions that we gave them, 350 billion naira. They can do it. 2027 will not be business as usual, but that depends on whether we take action today. Now, in addition to INEC publishing those results on their website, this Electoral Amendment Act will mandate INEC to do another thing: provide publicly available APIs that TV stations can use, that civil society organizations can use, that individuals can use, NGOs can use to display election results in real time from polling units on their own websites too, or for television programs, so that as the results are coming, we are seeing it. It does not leave any room for manipulation. This is the game changer. Tinubu will not like this. APC will not like this. Most of the lawmakers in the National Assembly will not like this. But the law is the law. We have a right to demand this amendment. And this is what all Nigerians must demand. Any Nigerian that is not demanding this electoral amendment is an enemy of Nigeria. It doesn't matter who that person is. Let's go further. Now, Section 50 or Section 50 subsection 2 says, voting at an election and transmission of results under this act shall be in accordance with the procedure determined by the commission. That's the old one. Now, here's the new one. Say, voting at an election shall be by such method as the commission may prescribe, provided that every result from a polling unit shall immediately after announcement be transmitted electronically. Let me zoom it in a little. Yes. Shall be transmitted electronically through a secure real-time system approved by the commission and capable of end-to-end description. Such transmission is mandatory and forms an integral part of the polling process. Then we put in a new subsection in that section 50 of the Electoral Act 2022. Subsection 5. It says, a presiding officer who fails to comply with subsection 2 commits an offense and is liable on conviction to imprisonment for 5 years or a fine of 5 million naira or both, and any result so affected shall be void. So INEC officials cannot be misbehaving the way they misbehaved in the 2023 elections. They don't have that liberty anymore. This, and you will see another provision later that makes this section easily justiciable. Easily justiciable. Okay, so let me shift this a little. Okay, fine. Section 60, which talks about counting of votes and forms. Section 60, subsection 5 is amended by deleting the phrase in a manner as prescribed by the commission and substituting the following. Say, by simultaneously, A, uploading a scanned copy of Form EC8A, and B, pushing the result data packet, including the total accredited voters and votes scored by each candidate, via an INEC certified electronic device, BVAS, to the National Electronic Transmission System immediately after announcement at the polling unit. We can't leave INEC to act on its own volition, act on its own prerogative, and expect elections to be free and fair. These kind of conditions are the things that we need to force INEC to do. They will not like this, but we must demand it. They can't come out openly to say that they don't like it, because they don't have the moral ground to say that they don't like it. Because if they come out to openly say they don't like it, then they will be openly saying they are planning to rig, even though we know that they are already planning to do that. And we are also putting things in place to make sure that rigging will be impossible. Even if they don't pass this Electoral Amendment Act, rigging will be impossible. They are counting, they have started campaign for 2027. We have started our own arrangement. And part of the things that we need will include you coming to join us to form a new political party. Don't sit and say it's not doable, it's doable. We'll talk about that later. Let's continue with this Electoral Amendment Act 2025 proposed. A new subsection is added into section 60 of the Electoral Act 2022, and in section 60, subsection 6, up to subsection 8. Subsection 6 says, the electronic data packet shall carry a unique hash to guarantee integrity and shall be time-stamped and geotagged. The time that result was uploaded, that the figures were uploaded, that time and the location will be tagged into what is uploaded. So we'll know where the results are coming from. A situation whereby somebody is posting the picture from his house in his toilet, that situation will not arise anymore. The application of INEC that we are forcing them to set up now, build, will force the application to take geolocation or geotag and timestamps for such results. 7, subsection 7 of section 60. It says, the presiding officer shall display on demand the transmission confirmation to every accredited agent present. So after the announcement of results at the polling unit, the collation officer must show to all the accredited agents of the accredited political parties that, look, I have sent the results of the polling unit to INEC. The confirmation must be seen with the figures that were sent. That confirmation must be displayed. You know, we can't leave these things to chance. Subsection 8, failure to transmit in accordance with this section shall constitute non-compliance substantial enough to invalidate the polling unit results. We can't leave this things to chance. This amendment is what we have been waiting for. Look at section 62, post-election procedure. It says the marginal note, there's a marginal note in the Electoral Act 2022. That marginal note now will be changed to this one. It says the marginal note is substituted with post-election procedure, electronic collation, and publication of election results. In subsection 1 of section 62 of the Electoral Act 2022, we must now have, after deliver same, we must now insert the and ensure the electronic version has been successfully received on the National Electronic Election Result Transmission System. Then subsection 2 of section 62 should now read, a collation officer shall rely first and exclusively on the electronically transmitted unit result, that's polling unit result, auto-collated by the National Election Result Transmission System, already published online. That's what the collation officers will do. And remember, the collation is just backup. The result is already displayed. It's just for administrative purposes, so that when you want to do a recount, you can have papers to fall back on. But the result is already online as per this amendment. Section 64, declaration of result. In subsection 64, subsection 4 of section 64, subsection 5, replace shall use with shall exclusively use and delete words subject to his or her verification. Okay, those are many ones. Now look at this one. Subsection 6 of section 64 adds a proviso. Say, provided that where the electronic record for a polling unit is absent on the National Election Result Transmission System within 2 hours of close of poll, the result for that polling unit shall be suspended until electronic data is supplied or a supplementary poll is conducted within 7 days. So a situation whereby you have collation officers continuing with collation when the result is not online, whether on IREV or in the election result transmission system. If it's not there, the collation officer, whether at the ward level, whether at the local government level, whether at the state level, cannot proceed. And if the result does not come, there should be a supplementary election in that polling unit within 7 days. INEC, una go hear am 2027. We cannot allow a situation in this country where we have wicked people treat us as if there are no sensible people in Nigeria. No. And this is the time for you and I to speak up and take action. I've said it. It's not about petitions anymore. This proposed electoral amendment bill 2025 is available for download. Download it. We must send it to all of our lawmakers. We must send it to all of our lawmakers. This is how to go about it. Not petition. Then you have the new sections that will be added. 64A to 64C. 64A talks about the election result transmission and auto-collation system. INEC shall maintain a secure, redundant, end-to-end platform known as the NERTS for real-time intake and automatic collection of election results. The NERTS shall generate a publicly documented application programming interface for third-party viewing not later than 30 minutes after the first result is uploaded in any election. The system shall, without further human input, tally polling unit data hierarchically from polling unit to ward to local government to state and up to the national level and push the running totals live to the public portal and to the API. My brother, my sister, tell me, how can INEC rig election again when we have this provision there that mandates them to do the right thing? You cannot afford not to download this Electoral Amendment Act and upload and send it to your lawmaker. Send it to your lawmaker. We cannot continue to have excuses. No. No. 64B, live portal results or live public result portal. All polling unit level results uploaded to NARTS shall auto-populate a live publicly accessible portal on the INEC website and through the API referenced in section 64A subsection 2. Data on the portal shall be searchable, downloadable, and retain a tamper-evident audit trail so that if they try to audit it, we'll have it. And then you have backups. That's what that section is talking about. Then this is the most beautiful of all the sections in this Electoral Act. This proposed amendment to the Electoral Act 2022. It says offenses, civil remedies, and penalties. Remember, we had some penalties earlier. This one is additional. Any INEC official or ad hoc officer who tampers with, obstructs, delays, or disables the electronic transmission system to say there is a glitch, the auto-collation system or publication process commits an offense and is liable on conviction to imprisonment for 10 years without an option of fine. So nobody can just wake up and tell us there was a glitch. The person responsible for that glitch will go to jail for 10 years. And of course, once that glitch happens, remember that that officer is liable to also go to jail for 3 years or pay a fine of 3 million naira. So that individual person will also pay that fine. And then you also have a situation whereby when that result is not posted online, it's substantially non-compliance and that polling unit is invalidated. So they must now conduct another election. With this one now, INEC cannot just come and say there was a glitch. They must conduct a rerun. I don't know. I'm excited about this Electoral Amendment Act. I don't know about you. Let's continue. Any candidate, party agent, or other person who aids or abets such interference commits a like offense and they go to jail too for 10 years without the option of fine. Now, who can sue INEC when they violate this law? Locus standi. Any registered voter, political party, or candidate shall have the right to institute civil proceedings against the commission or its officers for failure to comply with any provisions of this act and may petition the appropriate security or anti-corruption agencies for investigation and prosecution. No preliminary objection on standing shall defeat such an action. This Electoral Act is the end game. This is the one that will finally guarantee that our electoral processes are free and fair. We have not bothered about other things yet. Let's just have this one first. At this point, I'll ask, maybe some of you might have some additional amendments to make. Let me know. For me, these are the ones that are just burning. When we're discussing, my team and I told them, this one is the one that is burning. Some people were talking about diaspora voting. I said that one is plenty wahala. Maybe you are thinking we should add that too. Let me know in the comment section or send me an email. Let's have a conversation around this. 2027 must be different. We cannot wait until election day to begin to say, let the election be free and fair. If you wait until election day, it is already too late. The time to act is now. And there is something else that we also need to do. It is political party reform. This is electoral reform. Political party reform is even more important. Political party reform is even more important. I'll do it. I'll dedicate a full video to political party reform. And then the actions that we need to take. But right now, let's just take and focus totally and completely on the Electoral Amendment Bill. Electoral reform. All right, these are the consequential amendments that have been made in this Electoral Act. All references to the Principal Act in a manner as prescribed by the Commission in relation to transmission or collation of results are amended to reflect the mandatory electronic procedures introduced by this act. Mandatory. And of course, citation, Electoral Amendment Act 2025. Of course, you can read through this when we're just doing a recap. This is a recap. Explanatory memorandum. This memorandum does not form part of the act and is for explanatory purposes only. The bill removes INEC discretion and makes e-transmission and automatic e-collation of results compulsory with live public access. Yes. Key features include mandatory real-time electronic transmission from every polling unit, automatic hierarchical collation of results by NERTS from the ward to local government to state to national, then live public portal and open API for instant citizen oversight. Manual collation meetings serves only as a transparent backup. Only. The main thing is the live transmission. Then tough criminal penalties plus explicit civil standing for any voter, party, or candidate to sue or petition security agencies. The impact of this is that it will deliver end-to-end transparency and deter, stop manipulation, and empower citizens to enforce credible elections in 2027 and beyond. Once this Electoral Act is passed, and this is a message to the National Assembly, to the Speaker, that has withdrawn the bill to mandate compulsory voting, even when we advised him not to do that. Now, this, if indeed you are interested in ensuring that voter apathy is completely destroyed and that Nigerians indeed come out to vote, this is the bill you should send now to your House of Representatives, to your Senate. This is the bill. If this bill is passed, I can guarantee you Nigerians will come out in their thousands, particularly when the second step of political party reform is taken into consideration. Let me know your thoughts. Share this video. Nigerians need to hear this. I know it is not a very interesting video by way of editing. It is interesting by content, and it may be hard for some people who like to watch edited content. It may be hard for you, but I implore you, share it with them. Force yourself to watch this video. If you can, not if you can, I beg you, in the name of God, in the name of this country, download this document, go through it, and make sure that you send it to your lawmaker. Send it to their email, send it to their WhatsApp, and then if you can, print it, submit it to the National Assembly, and post a picture of yourself after you have submitted it to your social media. Let us, tag us, Electoral Amendment 2027 or 2025, Electoral Amendment Act 2025. Tag us. Let us make this go viral so that all Nigerians will have their attention on it, so that we can take the attention from movies or music or whatever and put it on this one. This is what we need at this time. Share it, like I said, and of course, if you have whatever other amendments you need us to make, let us know in the description, or sorry, in the comments, or send me an email. 2027, we will make voting impossible. Shebi they say they don't write results. May they call announce them now. When we have this kind of law, we go popo them. That I can tell you.